Things to know before you start. Do your research, people. There's so much information on the internet. I mean, some people have no idea what they're looking at budget-wise. So then they get shell-shocked when they go in and don't realize how expensive a car is and their payment, and they don't even know whether it works in their budget. So the best thing is to kind of have an idea of what you can afford to spend, and you've got to take everything into consideration, your monthly payment. Look at it for a 5-year run, because generally, if you're financing, cars are financed right from 5 to 8 years now. It's crazy. Do you have good credit? You don't have to have perfect credit. Obviously, the better it is, the easier it is to get financed. But there's opportunities now, especially through the dealerships, that you can get credit challenge type of loans and things. But if you are knowing that in the next year you want to buy a vehicle, start working on your credit now, because it's certainly a benefit the better your credit is. Can you put down a down payment? Obviously, the down payment makes a huge difference in what your monthly payment can be. Some you don't. There's special factory incentives to do 0 down, 0%. Those are ones you have to have really good credit for, but it's good to put some type of down payment, because you do have some equity in the car then. Another thing too is people don't think about their situation. They're like, oh my gosh, I love this 2-seater car. And they buy the 2-seater car if you're young, and then you get married, and now all of a sudden you have a baby on the way. Bye-bye 2-seater car, because it's not going to work for you. So if you drive a substantial distance to work, or you're out in sales and you're traveling a lot, you need to really take into consideration gas mileage, because now you know that unless you get some type of reimbursement from your company, if you're a W-2, you can't write off gas mileage anymore. I learned that the hard way. So type of thing. So look at your work situation, the seating capacity. If you're one that travels and takes all the kids to the soccer practices and things like that, there's vehicles out there with a third seat. We have a 2006 Acura MDX, and until just recently, I didn't even realize that thing had a third row. So all these years I could have been driving some extra people around. So those are the things before you start. Do your research, kind of get an idea of what kind of car you're looking for. Look at, there's so many different brands out there. So safety is a big one. And then you decide, okay, you also want to decide, there's so many dealerships out there. Why would you pick one? It's not always price. You want to make sure the business philosophy, you know, you're going to buy the vehicle, and you want to make sure that that's a good company, good solid company. They're not going to be going out of business anytime soon. Because think about that, you're going to buy a car, and most likely you're going to have a long-term relationship with them through your maintenance program, things along those lines. Also, are they active in the community? Or are they just there to sell cars? That kind of gives you a better idea if they're worried about their image and things, because they do a lot. Obviously, they're going to be a little more reputable than these buy here, pay here type situations. So what's best for you? This is the biggest thing. People don't, do you purchase new? Do you purchase pre-owned? Do you get a lease? The next screen will show you. Okay, so we're going to do new versus pre-owned. Misty, next screen. Okay, so people don't realize new versus pre-owned. You know, new cars are always going to be under factory warranty. They're brand new. They just came. They've got, 10 miles on them. They have the latest and greatest technology, such as the blind spot, the Apple CarPlay. So those are the cool things about getting a new car, plus the new car smell. The manufacturers are able to offer APRs as low as 0% for those who qualify. They have down payment initiatives, incentives. So there's some pluses to a new vehicle. Then you also have, do I get a pre-owned? Pre-owns, if you get like a 3-year-old car, it's a better value. You've got the options to upgrade already included. You definitely save some money that way, less depreciation on that. If it had some quirks, like sometimes when a new model comes out, there may be some issues, and there are some, recalls in the first year or two. If you're buying a pre-owned, most of those have already been worked through. A certified pre-owned is as good as buying a new. It's gone through rigorous inspections, and it's certified. So a lot of the factory incentives will still be in place for that. But here's the thing, with a new car, this was interesting to me when I was researching. A new car's value drops 20 to 30% by the end of the first year. Then it's about 10 to 15% after year 1. So if you're getting a 5-year-old car, it's now lost 60% of its value. So your car's, you have a 5 to 7 year loan. By the time your loan's paid off, I mean, a $40,000 car is now worth about $16,000. So that's something to take into consideration when you're looking to buy a new or a pre-owned. But there are some pluses to buying a new. Like I said, it's under warranty. There's not going to have any issues with it. You've got that 3-year, 36,000 miles off lease. There's different ones by each brand. You'll never have any issues with it. Like I said, you can get better incentives from the manufacturer. But do we get new or lease? Next screen. Okay. So the thing about, do you buy it or do you lease it? Leasing has changed quite a bit in the last couple of years. I just leased my ILX in March. And back in the day, you'd have to wait till your lease was up and then figure out what the value of the car was. But now they'll let you know how much you have left if you want to decide to buy the car or if you just want to trade it back in and get a new lease. So what's different about new versus a lease is a higher monthly cost for a new, but it is yours. The long-term loans can be 7 to 8 years now to keep the payment a certain, to fit in your budget. You do get unlimited mileage because it is your vehicle, and you own it at the end of the loan when it's paid off. And you have the ability to upgrade. Let's say you want to get, new hubcaps and different things. It's your car. You can do what you want to it. But if you lease, because you're only paying for a portion of the vehicle, you get a lower monthly payment with lower interest rate. You do have mileage limitations, but they have upped those now. You can get anywhere from 12 to 15,000 miles a year. You can also purchase extra mileage package if you know that that's something that you want to lease, but you do put more miles on there. You'll always have a car payment, but you'll always have a new car. You'll always be under factory warranty because it's a minimum of 3 years. Now you get a new vehicle every 2 to 3 years, just as we were talking about. Then you get the latest and greatest and all the things that are great about a new car. And luxury vehicles become more affordable. If I would have not leased my ILX, it would have been quite a bit more a monthly payment, especially if you're rolling in negative equity from a different vehicle. It's just nice if you've got a lease and you want to get that new car every 3 or 4 years or 3 years, then there's no negative equity and now you've got a brand new car. So, and less liability because it's a lease, it's not your vehicle. So how do you know if it's a better deal? There's lots of different dealerships out there offering different types of, you can get the Toyota RAV4 versus, let's say, a Nissan Kicks, and how do you know what's the better deal? Again, do your research. You can get, there's lots of reviews and things on there, but you're not just evaluating the vehicle, the cost of the vehicle. Look at what the payment would be. Is maintenance included? Oil changes, tire rotation. We have Moss Care, where if you're comparing us to another Nissan dealership, you're going to get rain repellent, surface shield, AC refresh, roadside assistance, lifetime tire rotations. That kind of goes into the cost. And just like, when you go to Nordstrom's versus going to Walmart, I mean, there's a difference in what you're getting. You also want to look at the reputation of the vehicle and the dealership that you're working with, the service that you get. So just got to take a look at, not just the price of the car. When let's say you're pricing around various vehicles with various dealerships, you're like, well, they can give me this for X amount. Well, how much are they expecting you to put down? You need to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. So the biggest thing is people are like, I'm not getting all these extended warranties. What are they? And this time I just want the car. Well, the new car warranties remain in effect mostly for 3 years or 36,000 miles. They cover repairs of most everything except wear and tear items like windshield wipers and brake pads. But the good thing about extended warranties, it protects you. Let's say your car's 4 years old now, you got the extended warranty. It will pay for genuine brand parts with factory trained technicians. You're not going to get whatever. You go to the Pep Boys and they do your repairs and they get you the cheapest type of product. If you're going to have a Nissan or you're going to have a Toyota, you want the Toyota brand parts and the factory trained technicians. The good thing about an extended warranty, cars are basically computers now. I mean, how many of you, I can't see hands, but I'm sure most of us have insurance on our cell phones, and those are what, $1,000 to $2,000, $3,000. When you're buying a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 car, it's such an investment to get those extended warranties because car repairs can be expensive. It's not back in the day where you could, fix your carburetor yourself. I mean, cars are computers, and very few people are able to repair them themselves now. A bumper to bumper would cover most things, such as air conditioning, powertrains, transmission, and other key parts. The important thing, if you do get an extended warranty, you have got to keep up with your suggested maintenance and your oil changes to ensure you don't void the warranty. I know that has happened to some people. They're like, I've got this extended warranty. Well, they lapsed in getting their oil changed or their tires rotated and different things, and it can void the warranty if you don't take care of the car the way they recommend it, because you're having issues because you didn't take care of the car. Now, gap insurance, people have varying views on gap insurance. Gap insurance is relatively inexpensive for what you get. It covers the difference between the value of the vehicle and the amount that actually is owed on the loan. And like I just mentioned, the depreciation in that first year, let's say, your car's $30,000 and you finance 25, well, now it's, worth 16. Then that would pay for that difference. I personally got a $6,000 windfall from my gap insurance. I had a Hyundai that got totaled, and people are like, do you have gap insurance? I'm like, what's gap insurance? So I called Liberty Mutual, my insurance company at the time. They're like, no, you get that when you purchase the vehicle. So I went through all my paperwork and I found this thing for gap insurance. It saved me $6,000 and it only cost me $200. So you do the math. That if you are financing and with that depreciation, gap insurance is well worth the money. Tire and wheel. Some people think, I don't need that, but it's very minimal cost for what it covers. Nails in the tire, blowouts, malfunction with your rims. Not the aesthetic, because I'm a big curb hitter, but that's not covered. However, if I did do something to the rim and it hindered the tire being rubbing or deflating, that would be covered under wheel and tire. So are we ready to finance? Ready to buy? That's a big question. People aren't realizing, do I get my financing through the dealership? Do I go to my own financial institution, such as, your credit union? Do you have bad credit? I think we kind of briefly touched on that. The thing about the dealership, they save time. They're the ones shopping around for the best interest rate for you, especially if you have marginal credit, or even if you have great credit. They want to get you the best deal around. For a new, the dealer can offer the great interest rate, promotional financing on brand new models, such as 0% for 72 months. That's something that Nissan has going on right now, but you have to qualify for it. But they can get you some of the better deals. Think about that. They do hundreds of loans per year with a variety of, like Suncoast credit unions or Bank of America. So they have some clout because they do a lot more loans with them. Where you, as an individual going into your bank, you're going to have this one loan for the next 5-6 years. So you're not as big of a client. Of course they would want your business, but you're going to get probably a better deal as interest rates working with the dealership. Some banks and credit unions have limits on the age and the mileage of the vehicle, and you'll need to go get pre-approved before you go to the dealership if you're getting your own financing. I whipped through this pretty quickly. So anybody have any questions?
Well, Chris, can you elaborate a little bit more about the wheel and tire coverage?
Yeah, I got it for my Acura, and it cost me like $150, and that will cover if there's a lot of construction areas. You drive over a nail, you've got a flat tire, it will cover for that tire. Like I said, if you run into a curb and you pop your tire, have a blowout, that is all completely covered. The tire is completely taken care of for you. And in most cases, it may cover and roadside assistance.
Hey, Chris, what does your crystal ball say about electric cars?
They've got the hybrid, and then they have the true electrics. Until technology, you can go maybe 250 miles. So unless you're driving local, you can't really take those long distance unless you have plenty of time to sit and park and let them charge. But that's why the hybrids come in, that they're a little bit, but the true electric, like our Leaf, they go about 250 miles before you have to charge again.
So Chris, when I go to deal with cars, one of the things that is the most trying is the trade, the whole trade negotiation. What my car is worth to me, what it is to the dealer, and how much they're going to take off and all that. So do you have any guidance on how to deal with trading and value?
Again, do your research before you go. Get a general idea of what you're going to get for a value for a trade-in for it. It's tough if you've got negative equity because it does obviously get rolled into the loan. So there's a lot of variables with a trade-in. Obviously, they can make the deal look better on paper, trying to give you more for your, and then it just depends. It's hard to give you specific. I would definitely do your research, see what it may be valued at before you go to the dealership. But if it's paid off, you can negotiate a little bit more than if you've got negative equity.
So that you do your research through like Kelley Blue Book or yeah.
Edmunds, Kelley Blue Book.
What was the other one?
Kelley Blue Book. Edmunds. Edmunds is the other one.
Edmunds? How do you spell that?
EDMUNDS.
Okay. Thank you.
Because some people are like, oh, they're ripping me off. But you got to understand the dealership is taking that vehicle in most times to be able to resell it. So obviously you can get more money selling it to an individual than trading it in. And if you have the time and energy and want to do that, you'd get more, unless, like I said, how they work it into the deal. So there's just a lot of variables.
You actually end up, because of the taxes, when you trade it, you pay less in taxes than when you sell to an individual and then you go buy a new car. You pay full boat tax on the new car if you don't work your trade into the deal with the dealer.
True.
So I learned that the hard way.
And I did learn, because we've got varying, tax rates in the different counties. So people are like, well, I'm going to go buy my car in Pasco since Hillsboro's a higher tax rate. The tax rate that you're paying on your loan or your vehicle, your purchase price, is where it's titled. So if you live in Pasco County, you'd pay Pasco. If you live in Hillsboro, it'd be Hillsboro.
No,
it doesn't matter where you purchase the vehicle.
I have a lot of faith in gap insurance because I lived that when I was in an unfortunate accident. I totaled my car and I was about $8,000 upside down, and they paid it. And I remembered when I purchased the car, they highly recommended it. And I was kind of on the fence about it, but I looked at the cost and it was so low. I thought, well, okay. And oh my God, I'm so happy I got it.
Exactly. Because it's a shame how much cars depreciate that first year. And
Wow.
if you finance that whole amount, now it's worth, 30% less. Yeah, then you're going to be responsible for that amount.
Yeah.
Chris, I
Cars now, they're so quick to total cars now because they're built to where they crumple more and take more of that shock. They're more concerned with keeping the cabin safe versus the exterior of the car. Because my mother totaled her Mazda 6, and that car was just smashed to smithereens, and she had just minimal damage to herself because the car took the crump, but it did get totaled.
So Chris, I had a Nissan and I only had it 2 months and it caught on fire and it almost caught my house on fire. And thank goodness it was a lease and there was gap insurance in it because there was like $19,000
Wow.
that I didn't have to deal with. So I was just like free and clear to go get another car.
Wow. Was that how
Yeah,
much
they
for a
basically
fire?
between the city and that they couldn't determine because there was some different things that it could have could have been a manufacturer or it could have been some kids running through the neighborhood. There was conflicting stories, so they never really investigated any further to kind of try to figure it out.
That's scary. Either way, it's scary to have your car catch on fire.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was like it looked like a bomb hit it when it was done.
No, and just to change, just because you're cabin members, just let me know. We do have a preferred customer program that gives you discounts on 15% off of service and parts. If you schedule your service in advance, you can either get but contact me and we can get you a loaner car or shuttle service. So those are some things that you do take into consideration when you're picking a dealership as well.
That's awesome.
I just want to chime in on the gap insurance chain. Gap insurance is worth its weight in gold. It is worth every single penny. Coming from an insurance agent, I try to, if you're eligible for gap insurance, we try to add it to your policy simply because the cost, like Sharon said, is so minimal for what you get. And some of the carriers now are actually giving you replacement cost on new vehicles. So that's something that's really new, but you can actually, if you buy a brand new vehicle, a lot of the carriers now are giving you replacement cost on it as well as gap insurance. So instead of getting depreciated value, you would get what it would cost to replace that brand new vehicle. So lots of cool stuff happening, but buy new cars. It's cheaper for you. Most of the time your insurance works out better because there's safety factors. All that good
True.
stuff.
That's just the latest and greatest technology there is. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chris, my daughter, she's 28, and I've already got her 4 cars. Okay?
Wow.
And did they make like bumper cars? For, no, come on. It's like, anyways. So
Now, does she lease or does she buy, or do you buy?
I just buy them for her. She can't afford to buy a stick of gum. But anyways.
But leasing would be a good option unless she's totaling those, but because that way you can get a new car every couple of years.
That means, Daddy, I have another payment every month. That's what that'll mean.
But a leasing is less expensive.
Yeah. Well, the last one I got her a 1972 Chevy Suburban. I'm thinking she can't wreck that tank. And even if she does, it's not going to hurt nobody, herself. But anyways.
Wow.
So
as long as she doesn't get hurt, cars are replaceable.
I always think they should invent bumper cars for kids, man. I don't know. And insurance, get that. Oh my gosh.
I think since people have gotten out of quarantine, they are driving like maniacs. It is absolutely ridiculous how people are driving nowadays. Like, I'm so happy to be out.
Yeah.
That's true.
And a new car does make you feel better. I mean, if you've been quarantined, I mean, that's why I got my new one in March, and it's just nice to get in a new car.
Yeah.
Right. Steve, my son went through 8 cars.
8 cars.
In the first 5 or 6 years. We bought the first one and that was it. But let me tell you, this is a PSA. After he smashed the 4th one,
Wow.
or the 5th one, I'm not sure. I told him that he was going to send his license back to Tallahassee and ask to be removed as a driver in the state of Florida, so my insurance payments would drop. And he didn't drive for 2 years until he asked for his license back. So you can revoke your own license.
Really?
That's
interesting.
A great idea.
Good parenting, Diane. Great parenting, Diane. Thank you for sparing the rest of us.
But then you have to drive around all the time.
Well, no, that's really good because now with Uber, it's kind of like, you know what?
Yeah.
Either
I was
learn how
going to
to
say.
drive or use an Uber. Well, Joyce.
I was just about to say that's what Joyce is for.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
My daughter, she got a DUI. She got a DUI. That cost $10,000, by the way. That
Oh my
was expensive.
gosh.
And they took her license for 6 months, and our Uber bill was like I think like 400, maybe 500 a month when she was in her DUI suspension stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my nephew.
But with insurance rates and teenagers, Steve, you may have saved yourself some money there, believe it or not.
Hey,
Yes.
When you add a teenager to your policy and you have a car payment, guys, that $400 Uber bill looks really, really nice compared to adding a teenager to your insurance policy.
I got a 16-year-old, and so I know. But what we did is we bought an or somebody gave me an old truck. Just sitting in the backyard, and we put him as the primary driver on this 1994 Mazda B3 2000 pickup truck. And so the insurance is lower because we got him on that one, and he has permission to drive all our cars. So, that was a smart idea if you have teenagers.
Well, here's an interesting thing too. Find out what models are completely redesigning, because then they try to sell off the old style at a lesser, even though it's still a brand new car, but let's say in 2022, the new body style is coming out. So you can get a good deal in 20 or 21 for that vehicle because they want to get rid of those to bring in the new body styles.
what is the best luxury vehicle on the market under 100 grand, say?
Well, I'm biased. I think Acura. They only have 5 models,
Really?
and they hold their value tremendously. Here's an example. We have a 2006 MDX, and my son's car got stolen, and we could either give him my mom's 2015 Ford Fusion, or my husband was going to give him the MDX. And the insurance on the MDX, because it's still a luxury brand and holds its value, was way more expensive for the auto insurance than that 2015 Ford Fusion.
Okay. So
Okay.
you think?
But I honestly think I had a girlfriend that had got T-boned in a TL Acura, and that thing took the brunt. She was bent out. They had to cut her out with the jaws of life, and they said
Oh my
had
God.
she been in a different car, she'd be dead.
Mhm.
So you look at those safety factors as far as a luxury, but you also want to make sure that they're built well.
Yeah. Like on Misty, we're on our 6 Lexus. We have, my wife has a GX 470. That's a great vehicle. And we have a Jeep and a truck and another truck in the backyard. So, but
Come test drive an Acura. See what you like.
we had an Acura. We traded in for a Lexus. Sorry. But, you know, it's just, as a realtor, we need a nice vehicle. So it just kind of works for us, the 470.
It's the same
470.
level of luxury. Like Honda's luxury brand is an Acura.
Right,
Toyota's luxury brand is Lexus.
right.
Infiniti is the luxury brand of Nissan.
Cadillac is Chevy, right?
Correct.
All right.
Lincoln is Ford.
So what's the best one out of all of them? Okay, Acura, I got it.
Do your research.
I do my research. I wait for the car shows to come, and we just keep jumping into cars. And is there going to be a car show this year?
Mm-mm.
No. Oh man.
And right now it's hard to
Hey,
get
Sean, can
certain
you hear me okay?
vehicles because of the manufacturing is down because everybody's
Good,
closed
'cause,
down.
you got me on the cell phone. If you can't hear me, I can call you back on a landline.
Oh, there's Jeff. So there's no car show this year, huh?
Hey, Chris, are you guys having trouble with inventory with your
We
cars?
are. The Frontier, the 2021s, we can't even get. They're still, parts are being shipped over to the United States to manufacture and put them together. And they can't keep up with the demand. So they're just, because they were shut down for so long and they're trying to play catch up. And the Frontier is a small little pickup truck versus the Titan. So we're trying to get those here because the Titan's not for everybody and we can't get Frontiers. I want to do a promotion with the brewing company, Big Storm, and we're going to do Frontiers, fries, and frosty mugs. And we couldn't because I didn't have a Frontier. So I kind of blew the promotion.
Wow. But everybody's having it. I mean, there was a big article a couple weeks ago in a journal about it. I mean, and it's everybody's feeling it with some vehicle within their lineup.
Yep. Well, I'm getting it with the refrigerator. My mom moved in with us, and we built a mother-in-law suite, and she still doesn't have a refrigerator since July, and it's supposed to be here sometime this month, but they're behind on production.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's overall because we ordered a grill back in May and we just got it. It was crazy. So
The things we took for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breakers for a house. We had to replace a breaker box, and we couldn't get the breakers.
Oh wow.
What?
Yeah, they were.
And it's probably going to get worse, right? I mean, I don't think it's going to get better.
It should get better.
I don't know. I had to buy a dryer online, and I didn't like that because I couldn't touch or feel it. The dryers were hard to get dryers in without waiting 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
A few months ago, we couldn't get toilet paper.
Right?
I got a new toilet in 3 days.
Hey!
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
toilet, but no paper. No.
a necessity.
That was funny.
Thank goodness for that, right?
Any
Yeah.
other questions? Thanks for giving me the opportunity to do this. I do like to talk about the car business because, like I said, a lot of people have had bad experiences and nobody wants to go in and haggle and deal. But the more you know about what you're looking for, the better you are.
Great.
Chris, this is Pete. How do you tell a good dealership from a bad dealership?
Oh,
Again, do your research and the reputation. And, I know this isn't supposed to be a sales pitch, but, Maus is family owned and faith-based and operated, and they are physically on site. They're at the dealership, and it's not just a name on the, on the sign out front. So you want to worry about reputation and community, because if they're going to be doing that, They're going to care more because they want to form a relationship with you, not just sell you a car today.
So when you walk around your lot, there are stickers on the cars with prices?
Yep.
Which is kind of a crazy question, right? But I took my car in to do service and we're contemplating a new car, and there were no price tags on any of the cars sitting on the lots at the dealership.
Wow. They
Yeah.
should. I mean, we've been having it on our pre-owned as well. They're all the sticker price. Here's just a quick thing. We have a vehicle, an NSX, which is an Acura's sports car. In 2017, it's in the showroom right now, was a trade-in. It sold for $208,000. This is 2017. Now we have it on sale for $133,000.
Holy moly.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah. How many people do you let test drive?
You have to be pre-qualified to.
I'll bet.
Well, we did have somebody coming in, so I haven't been there since Friday, so I don't know if it's sold or not, but somebody had called to make an appointment to drive it. We had one
How do
that,
you assign the salesperson on that?
what's that?
How do you assign a salesperson to that?
She answered the phone. I asked
Love
her,
it.
I said, Alicia, I said, how do you get that caliber of customer? And she said, I was the one that answered the phone. Well, good for her.
Perfect. I just am always curious as to how people delegate leads in dealerships and things like that.
You know, the sales staff is responsible for generating some of their own leads as well. And then I'm lucky to be out and about, and I have about 6 different salespeople between the 4 dealerships that I personally refer to because I want to make sure that it's consistent as far as service and they're getting their preferred customer. So, but we have some really good ones at our place.
You should give me some names.
Okay. For Nissan or Acura?
Could be either. I'm not committed. I'm shopping.
Well, let me know when you're ready and I'll let you know who would be the best one for you.
Well, I'm ready to talk to somebody.
Woo.
Vincent Brown is great at Acura. He did that when we did the thing at the after hours for cab at Mosey. He came out with me. At Nissan in North Tampa is Angela Martinez or Damian Rule. In Newport Richey, it would be, I'd rather you talk to Sean Ginley, who is the sales manager there. But let me know before you would contact them so I can let them know that you're referred by me.
When you refer somebody, when one dealership refers it to another dealership, do they still get paid?
What do you mean?
Okay, I bought a Corvette and I went to the dealership here in Del Mabry, and they said I have to go to South St. Pete to go buy the car over there.
Are they the same dealer group?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Well, then
So they
No.
just referred me out.
whoever sells the car is the one that gets the
The commission, right? So they just gave me away, or is that what happened? I thought they'd get a little commission or something for referring me. I don't know.
If we were to do that in, like, let's say the vehicle wasn't at North Tampa, but it's over in Newport Richey, we'll just bring the car over to North Tampa. So you would deal with the same person. So I don't know how other dealerships do something like that, unless they have some type of cross referral program with each other.